Want to pay a lot of money for a cheap cosplay? Sony announces plans to ruin other franchises besides Spider-Man? Will the main man be hot for fish? We're talking about your 5 resolutions you won't be keeping tonight on the hit list. All this and more on Cutting Edge Hero Live. Welcome to Cutting Edge Hero! I am the Nerd King, Danny Stewart. According to Landon, I am in your walls. I am the host for this and every episode of Cutting Edge Hero, joined as always by the incredibly chipper, cheery, and re-energized Landon Felter. Landon, how are you doing tonight?
I am barely keeping it together.
Yeah, well, I am glad you're here. Also, our human relations specialist and fact checker extraordinaire, Ben Stewart, should be in the comments tonight. If he isn't, no forgiveness. I will kill you. Also, Marbles is in the chat. Glad to see you here. Everyone else, say hi when you get here. We appreciate each and every one of you. Landon, before we get into the news, what is the nerdiest thing you have done since I saw you last, which has been 3 weeks?
The nerdiest thing I have done is edited another episode of my and Billy's podcast, Date Night at Power Noodles. Yes, I'm doing the plug at the beginning this time.
There you go. I like it. Yeah, get them while they're entertained, and we only have 4 viewers.
Yes, totally. And playing a lot more of Elden Ring.
Yeah, how's that going?
Slow. I don't think I'm doing that optimized of a build, but
yeah.
You know, I never play that optimized.
Are you taking advantage of the good farms?
No, I try a little bit, but it gets boring farming.
I farmed like crazy. I really wanted to be able to do something in the game. It was my second only Soulsborne ever, and I wanted to be good at it. So I got online and found all the best farms, and I just raised those stats as quick as I could.
I mean, I know some of the good farming spots. Like, I've done them. I don't want to spend all my time farming, especially when some of the areas, like my weapons, just aren't good enough to do good farming.
Yeah, I get it. That all makes sense. We also have Rebecca on the in the chat. Rebecca, glad you are here. Yes, the show is back. We could not be more excited. I've been looking forward to it all day, and I had that ADHD impulse to. Where does I need to go? There we go. I had an ADHD impulse to do absolutely nothing today because I had something going on at 6:30 this evening. And so I was very non-productive today, but I did the best that I could. That being said, the nerdiest thing that I have done since Christmas, yes, Blue, look over my left shoulder. There's my Kylo Ren helmet right there. Which way does my arm need to go? I'm so bad at this. Right there. I actually got that for like $4 at Goodwill, and it is the actual Disney store version of the Kylo Ren helmet. It's like $175 mask, and I got it for like $4, which blew my mind. I saw it and I was like, Katrina was like, "Are you getting that?" I was like, "Yes, I'm getting this." Banjo in the chat said, "Finally linked our time zones up." Hell yeah, dude. That is my very good friend and I only know him by his in-game name from that mobile game I play of Scallywag. But that's my friend from Australia in the chat as well. Banjo, glad you are here. I'm surprised it says Banjo and not didgeridoo, but that's my own bigotry. And then, yes, Marbles is looking out for you, Rebecca, and I appreciate you guys all being here. The nerdiest thing I've done this since our break, I got a lot of nerd gifts. It was mostly Star Wars. I know I've shown these on the show once before, my lightsabers, but because I talked my loving wife into it, I now have not just the 2 I got at Black Friday, but I also now have a third one that matches the set. And so I've been playing with my lightsabers a lot. So that's been probably the nerdiest thing I've done. I also have really gotten into, I'm a huge fan of Nathan Fillion, and what nerd isn't? But I've gotten into The Rookie. So I am working on that series right now, and it is so good. I was a fan. I got to turn these off. I was a fan of where am I going with these? I had them laid out. Anyway, I'm a fan of Firefly, and then I'm a big fan of Castle. And so I don't know why I've been sleeping on this other Nathan Fillion led series, but it is so good. I am enjoying it so much. I think I watched it for like 12 hours straight the other day because, it's binge time. But man, that show is good, and I cannot recommend it enough. And thankfully, it's about to start its 7th season, so there's a lot to watch.
Yeah.
Yeah. Cool. So Landon, now that we've gotten that out of the way, do you want to go into some news?
Oh, always.
All right. How about you fire those bullet points at me? Welcome to the bullet points. We are starting today with anime news. So if you are a fan of, Deontay the Giant in the chat, Deontay, glad you are here. That is my other son that I claim proudly and love deeply. And I'm just so glad you're here, Deontay. Thank you for being a part of the show. If you are a fan of cosplays and you just couldn't find a good set of katanas for your Zoro cosplay from One Piece, Entertainment Earth has you covered. With an image that I sent over to Landon here, this is their official 1-to-1 scale replica of Zoro's current swords from the anime, the Wado Ichimonji, the I can't remember the second one's name, and Enma, the sword he got on Wano. Interestingly enough, you could start pre-ordering these now on Entertainment Earth, but they are completely plastic. Like, there's no metal blade in them. They are a plastic replica of his swords. They will cost you, Landon. If you had to guess how much that set of 3 plastic swords was going to cost you, what would the number be?
God,
feel free to play along in the chat.
Official merch like this is always way more expensive than it should be. I'm going to guess ballpark $300, $100 for each sword.
Incorrect. It is currently priced at $519 for these 3 anime replica plastic swords. Yeah. That is insane. That is an insane amount of money.
That sounds about right for insane pricing standards.
So I have the set. I have all 4 of his swords from the anime. I have the set that you can get on Amazon, and they're like $30 a piece, and they have a bamboo blade in them, and they work just fine. They're great for the cosplay. They look just like the swords from the anime, and it cost me $90 to get, $120 to get all 4 of them. And Entertainment Earth is like $500 something for plastic replicas. I just don't get it.
I don't know. They know that if they got like that seal of approval type thing, they can get away with a lot of stuff.
I mean, I'm for it. It cost them like maybe $1 worth of plastic to make, and they're selling them at $519 a piece. And if they even sell one, they're money ahead. You know what I mean? Like, I'm sure the marketing on it is great. I'm sure it'll look great. I'm sure a bunch of anime nerds will need the actual official version with the seal of approval on it. But that is just an insane amount of money to me.
Yeah. It's like I said for the 3rd time now, this stuff is always way more pricier than it needs to be.
Yeah.
Because they know they can get away with that.
Yeah, they got those basement dwellers over a barrel when it comes to the official merch, and the virtue signaling of like mine are official. Like, yours are nice, but mine are official. And it's like, yeah, they're officially fucking plastic. Like, get the fuck out of here. But anyway, moving along, at the CES 2025, Sony made an announcement at their press conference. It included a lot of tech stuff, but it also included some entertainment stuff. The most important one, I think, is that they announced that they will be releasing a Ghost of Tsushima anime in conjunction with Aniplex that will be releasing exclusively on Crunchyroll.
I know a lot of people who have played Ghost of Tsushima, and they go crazy for the aesthetics and the story and everything. So an anime will go gangbusters.
Yeah, I know that the second one, being female-led, became a big problem on the internet, but the first one is still beloved.
Wait, you're telling me the internet had a problem with a female-led thing?
Yes, and it's awful. And I forget her name, but the voice actress that is playing the lead is incredible. Like, she's so good. She's in so many things. She's part of the Dropout cast. She's great, and I thought nerds would be excited. And then just the fact that it's a female lead in a samurai video game was like, just blew people's mind. They were so mad about it. It's like, woke Sony making woke video games. It's like, shut the fuck up. Anyway, but yes, so the Ghost of Tsushima anime, I hope that when they unveil it, it's the female-led story and not the male character from the original game. But that would just serve them right. But also, they announced that Last of Us Season 2 will be dropping in April of 2025, so just in time for anime, Cape Anime. We can also look forward to Last of Us Season 2, and that Horizon Zero Dawn and Helldivers 2 are both getting theatrical film releases.
Oh, yeah.
So hopefully, since it's Sony, they don't decide that they don't want to use the main character from Horizon Zero Dawn and instead want to go with an ancillary character in the hope that they can start a franchise and then bring the main character in later.
Hopefully.
As they did with the Spider-Man movies.
Yes.
In movie news, this is just a bit of excitement and happiness, I think, for everyone. Zendaya and Tom Holland are officially engaged. He popped the question, and she said yes. I feel like I just keep having to move over. Anyway, trying to stay center. Want to be the center of your attention as I do with everyone. But anyway, so just congratulations, Tom and Zendaya. I know you were waiting on me to say that specifically so you could celebrate your upcoming nuptials.
We know they watch the show.
Yeah, we know they watch the show. Absolutely. Justin Quick in the chat says, "Hey, Danny, what is up?" Justin, I'm glad you're here. Small reminder, everyone in the chat, we will be doing our 5 New Year's resolutions that we do not plan to keep on the hit list here in a little bit. So be getting your lists together, or at least have a solid 5, just so that when we fire it up, you can go ahead and put that in chat so you have time to think about your 4. But, otherwise we'll wait for you. It's not a big deal. We got time. In other movie news, Jason Momoa, previously who played Aquaman in the DCEU, has officially been cast as Lobo for Supergirl Woman of Tomorrow in James Gunn's DCU franchise. Did I send you an image for that?
Yes, you did. I completely blanked on that.
That's okay. That's
folks.
Okay.
It's been
usually you're on it, so I'm going to give you a break on this one. But anyway, so those of you not familiar with Lobo, Lobo is a character specifically from Superman comics. He is his origin is similar to Superman's in that he is the last of his kind. It is different in that in order to be the last of his kind, Lobo killed the rest of his race. Every other person that in existence from his race, he murdered them so he could be the only one. The creator of Lobo, who I should know off the top of my head, but I can't think of his name right this second, created Lobo as a spoof and a joke making fun of other anti-hero characters like the Punisher and Wolverine that had gotten popular, and he just hated that. So he released this character to DC Comics, and instead of everybody being like, yeah, we hate this, they were like, we love this, and Lobo became the anti-hero character of DC Comics. And so that blew up in that creator's face, but that character is awesome. He has appeared on live action once previously. I don't remember what series that was, but this will be the dream casting. Everybody's wanted to see Jason Momoa as Lobo. Jason Momoa wanted to play Lobo. They made him Aquaman for some reason, and now James Gunn is rectifying that for us.
Yeah, I have heard nothing but praise for what is happening with Jason Momoa as Lobo.
He's exactly what you'd he's like casting Robert Downey Jr. as Iron Man or Hugh Jackman as Wolverine. He's just perfect for it. Like, literally what Lobo is what Jason Momoa has been in most of his best character portrayals. He's just a big, stupid, rough and tumble, like loves to fight and is all about just making money. Lobo is a great comic book character. I have a bunch of his. I was trying to see if I can pull them out. I have a bunch of his comics down here. One of them, he gets hired to kill Santa Claus, which is really great. The Easter Bunny hires him to kill Santa Claus. It's a great story. But there's just a lot of really great Lobo stuff over the years.
Yeah.
So I'm excited about that. I hope they do a good job with it. And our last piece of news, from me at least, Nicholas Galitzine, and I hope I'm pronouncing that correctly, the person cast officially to play He-Man and Prince Adam in the new Masters of the Universe movie coming to us in 2006. In an interview with Collider, 2026, I apologize. Yes, in a film not coming to us from the past, in an interview with Collider, said that they are not going to, it's going to be very different from the source material. The official quote is, "Look, what I will say is our version is quite different from the original animation, which we all agree was camp within its own right and worked so well for the time. But there's been a couple of iterations, obviously, since there was the Revelations version of Master of the Universe and the comics themselves. And we're very much treating our script as Bible, you know. But it's kind of amazing to hear what this show meant to a lot of people. It was really formative for a lot of people. So exciting to do something that will have a nostalgia element as well as hopefully attract a bunch of new fans." So they're planning to lean on the Kevin Smith Revelation series from Netflix and some of the deeper lore coming from the comics.
Well, to be fair, as long as it's not made just to sell toys, it's already leagues different than the original. So
yeah, some of my favorite series of all time were made just to sell toys, i.e. Transformers and, you know, everything else behind me. Really, honestly, that was the most of the good stuff from the 80s and 90s was literally a vehicle to sell figures.
Well, to be fair with Transformers, they went batshit insane with that, but that's a story for another time.
It is, and I could talk about it all day. Tune into my Transformers only podcast, Date Night at Prime Noodle, where I will be talking about it with my good friend William. But anyway, that is all I've got for news. Landon, what do you have in video games?
All right, so right off the top of the bat, I am not too sure what I have and haven't covered since our last episode was 3 weeks ago.
We all have short memories. Nobody's going to fault you for that.
Yeah, and secondly, to everybody watching right now, I would like to get more of a feel of what you would like me to cover more of. Like, I'm just covering things I think sound interesting, but if there's anything specific out there that y'all would like me to report on or focus more on, please don't be afraid to tell me. I want to give you what you want.
Yeah, and getting more Landon is always for the best. I do want to point out that Spaceboy said that the actor for Superman said that, for He-Man said, that looked like a clean-shaven, buff Landon. I can't imagine Landon being more buff than he is. And Jody Lee Meredith said, "Why go with the source material? Ask Dolph Lundgren." That's true. The original Dolph Lundgren led Masters of the Universe movie is just a huge piece of shit, for sure.
Yeah. Anyway,
Deontay, can you cover all of us, Daddy?
Oh, of course.
Of course. Anyway, what do you got, Landon?
Right off the bat, Secret Level has been renewed for a second season.
That is exciting. We still have episodes that they promised for season 1 that haven't come out yet, so I'm not surprised by that.
Yeah. But I haven't seen all of season 1 myself. I've only seen a couple of episodes. We will be covering that later.
Yes, we will be talking about Secret Level in a minute.
But I will talk about what I can.
Okay.
Also, Secret Level creators have revealed that they did pitch a Doom x Halo crossover episode.
Really?
But it got denied.
Yeah, I don't see that in the vein of what Secret Level is doing in like crossover materials between properties, because it seems like every episode is like one property per, and I wouldn't really see where they would want to do. It'd have to be some kind of like Christmas special or some shit. Like, it couldn't just be part of the regular season, I wouldn't think.
I don't know. I think they pitched it because they wanted to do it. They had a lot of fun with ideas and were just like, let's see if we can actually make this. But yeah, it would have been a team up between Master Chief and the Doom guy. Moving on. War Thunder. Have you all heard of War Thunder?
I have not heard of War Thunder. What is War Thunder?
It is a like tactical tank combat or tank airplane combat sort of online a multiplayer game.
Okay.
It's very like there are modes where it's based off of realism. There are modes where it's pure arcade madness, just playing along with that. But that's not the focus of why I'm bringing up War Thunder. The focus is that they have on the forums once again accidentally leaked classified materials.
Oh my God. Classified from who?
The civilian population. So
oh my. So like our government's classified documents?
yes,
Jesus Christ. How?
because so this is actually a pretty common occurrence
Okay.
with War Thunder, World of Tanks, and all that. People on the forums get into debates about how the planes and tanks and ships should be running in game, how well they should be performing, and that people get so heated that they whip out classified documents
my
that they have access to, post it up there just to be like, see, it should run like this because the blueprints show it here, here, and here.
Does the clout chasing ever end?
I don't know if it's clout. I think it's just genuinely a bunch of people who are super passionate about this game being like, I want my favorite plane to work right. It's fantastic. It happens like every 6 months.
What a bunch of nerds.
You could time your clock by it, I swear.
So what was the classified information that was leaked?
I don't know.
Do you want to share it online on our show?
I honestly don't know. I just hear classified information and I'm like, yeah, it's probably already been wiped.
Yeah.
But yeah, people always get arrested or get into some sort of legal issues. But yeah, happens all the time. So a bunch of Halo data got leaked over our break, including the 1999 beta.
Okay.
It shows how like the early game was made, but also it was in third person, which is something that shocked a lot of people.
Yeah. So I'm assuming since it was the game beta, some people at some point had their hands on this, right? Like previously?
Oh yeah, of course. Somebody had to have their hands on it.
Okay.
Testers at the very least.
Absolutely. So but it was initially like an over the shoulder third person view for Halo.
Yep.
Which is very interesting considering Halo is the game that let's see, what's the word I'm looking for? Rejuvenated the third person or first person shooter post the popularity that like GoldenEye had. There really wasn't anything between that and like Halo's popularity.
I mean, I think Call of Duty and Medal of Honor still had their place.
But they didn't have like they weren't moving units. Like people weren't specifically going out and buying like Xboxes en masse just to play Call of Duty. Like that wasn't a thing. Like they released Halo and it was so fucking popular that literally made the Xbox a viable option against like the PlayStation and the Nintendo.
Yeah, I'd say, but I'd say you're right about that. But yeah, Halo, a lot of data, including the beta, got released.
It seems like to me, and I might be wrong about this. So some of you internet historians correct me if I'm wrong, but like Perfect Dark was like the hot first person shooting game leading up to the release of Halo that everybody was like really excited about, and it kind of went by the wayside after Halo landed.
I don't know about went by the wayside. It was very popular in its time, and it still has like a cult following to this day.
Mm-hmm.
I'm sure there are people who still go back and play the original Halo. A lot of people who still go back and play Halo 2. But Perfect Dark, I don't know.
It just, and I could be wrong, but it feels to me like Perfect Dark was at a crescendo around the time Halo dropped, and they lost a lot of market share to Master Chief over Joanna Dark.
Possibly.
What else you got?
Last bit of news from me. Dead Space 4 was pitched earlier this year or late last year, but was rejected by EA.
Okay.
Yeah.
So catch me up. What is that game?
Dead Space?
Yeah.
It is a horror action game from...
Is that Resident Evil in space? Is that the Dead Space games?
I guess you could call it that. Yeah.
I've never played it. I'm
very popular.
I know it's space zombies, right? Like,
yeah,
that's the whole point.
More or less.
Yeah.
But yeah, a lot of people were bummed to hear this news. My partner Joey was very bummed to hear this news. But yeah, it was one of the biggest franchises for EA at one time, and they rejected a fourth installment that was pitched by the creator himself.
That's crazy. They should just hand it over to Hideo Kojima. You know,
I'm trying to imagine a Hideo Kojima Dead Space game, and
it'd be a lot more quirky, that's for sure.
I think it would be like batshit insane. But anyway, that's all the news from me.
All right. Well, that covers all the news we have this week. Landon, I hope this news didn't just graze you. This has been the Bullet Points. Billy Rhodes asked, "What is the hit list for this week?" And it is the 5 resolutions you don't plan to keep. We all make them. We all have the best intentions, but when you're really being honest with yourself, it's like, am I really going to stick to that? Anyway, we'll talk about that in a little bit. So you talked about it briefly, but we are going to be talking about season 1 of Secret Level. So this dropped a little, like I want to say a couple weeks prior to Christmas. They dropped the first half of it. I think the first part was 7 episodes. There was the very first episode is D&D based. After that, it is like Armored Core. The Pac-Man episode is insane. And I watched it and I was like, is this supposed to be Pac-Man? And it was, and it's creepy and it's terrifying. And then it turns out that they were actually making that game and it has released since, and it is insane. And I'm very excited about this Pac-Man game. But basically what Secret Level is each episode is a standalone story that takes place inside a gaming universe, usually featuring the main characters of the game, or if it's a create your own character, they just have random ones that they got. The Armored Core, Keanu Reeves is the main character.
Mm-hmm.
And it's kind of nuts. Like it's like, I want to see a live action Armored Core with Keanu Reeves now, because it was just so good. Some of them are hit or miss. There's ones that I don't really care much about. So the first half only really, the really good ones was the Warhammer one is great, and it pulls from the Warhammer video game franchises. The Pac-Man one is nuts, and it's creepy as shit, and it gives you a very different perspective on Pac-Man. The D&D one's great. Does a great job of showing you what the Forgotten Realms is supposed to be like when you're playing it and what you're supposed to be seeing in your head. And then whenever they drop the second half, we got some other really great ones. We got the Mega Man one, which I was very, very excited about. Now, that being said, the Mega Man does not get very far into the story.
No, I was a little disappointed. Like, I saw the runtime and saw that was a bit shorter.
Yeah, they're all like right at 15 minutes.
Yeah, but this was just like, it was like 6 minutes and some change.
Yes. The Mega Man one, I would have loved to have seen more action as Mega Man, but that story is basically Roll going from being a like helper bot to being the Mega Man we know and love, and that's where the episode ends. It's like he finally straps on the helmet and is ready to start fighting as Mega Man, and that's where the episode ends. And it was like, it's kind of cool, but I was hoping for more. Like you were saying in the video game news, their season 2 is already greenlit, but there was supposed to be a God of War episode in this season 1 that didn't come.
Yeah, if I had to guess, maybe Sony is being a little iffy about the whole thing. Like, they have their own animation studios, their own film studios. Like, there may be I don't know quite the word I'm trying to go for, but they may be a bit hesitant about letting somebody else touch their property.
You can say that, but when they dropped the first looks at Secret Level, there was Kratos and the newer God of War, the one they released, and then Ragnarok. That version of Kratos was in the first looks of it, so they had something made already.
Yeah, a trailer thing, but that doesn't mean that Sony's going to let them do a full release.
Right. I'm just disappointed we didn't get that fully released. But yeah, the Secret Level is a lot of fun. The overarching point of the series is the idea of why these characters can die and be resurrected over and over and over again. It's handled in different ways in each episode, depending. But that's the main idea behind it. I don't remember the name of the game now, but there is one that is based on an MMORPG And there's a character named King. Jeez, I can't remember. Let me Google this real quick because I don't want to be wrong.
Yeah, I think that was one of the ones I didn't watch.
So there is an episode of Secret Level about King Aelstrom, and it's a character from Jesus Christ. Why does it not just have this listed here? New World Aeternum. It is an MMORPG, and it has an episode called King Aelstrom, and it's about this character who's this like warrior king that accidentally lands on this island where nobody can die. And he keeps getting resurrected and keep getting resurrected. And whenever it first started, the guy started talking, and I was like, "Holy Christ, that is one of the best Arnold Schwarzenegger impersonations I have ever heard." And then I watched the credits, and it actually was Arnold Schwarzenegger voicing King Aelstrom, who is this like bumbling version of like Conan the Barbarian. And they actually got Arnold Schwarzenegger to come voice this guy, and it's great. Like, it's so great. He does such a good job in it. And at one point, he actually wields the Conan sword in the episode, and that was just a fun little Easter egg. But that one was a blast. I really enjoyed that. And the whole idea there is like people can't die. So he keeps challenging the actual king of the island. And this guy's like centuries old and an incredible fighter. And the Arnold Schwarzenegger character cannot keep up with him. So he just keeps dying over and over and over again. But that one's a lot of fun. But yeah, so the Sifu episode is really good. The Pac-Man one was really good. So I would say check it out if you've got time. They're very short episodes. They're, like I said, the longest one I think is 15 minutes. So they come and go very quickly. Some of them are beloved franchises. Some of them are franchises I don't give a shit about. And it was kind of a mixed bag. So some of them are really good, some of them not so much. Never at any point is the animation suffer. Never at any point is the acting not good, or the portrayals or the characters aren't good. It's very worthwhile. So you can tell they put the time, money, and effort into making the production value of this very high. It's just some of these games I just don't care about. Like, I didn't care about the story going into them, you know?
Yeah, like just a reminder for folks, this is the same people that made Love, Death, and Robots. So the animation is going to be top notch.
That's fire. But yeah, so unfortunately, we got a little bit of a bait and switch with the Kratos story. I was really looking forward to seeing some more expanded story within the God of War universe and where that was going to take place. But it is, you do get to see some beloved characters that don't get a lot of like screen time outside of their own games, just kind of doing what they do, and it was a lot of fun. Yeah. After that, Skeleton Crew dropped episodes 6 and 7 in the weeks that we have been away. This show is just getting better. It is a little kid gloves. It's a little more like, it's very safe. Skeleton Crew seems like a very safe show. You're not worried that any of the kids are going to die, because what an awful Star Wars property to aim at children and then murder the main characters off in the middle of it. So there's really no like danger to them, but like watching the story progress and where it's going, it's very fun. It does what the best Star Wars stories do, and it doesn't hinge on any one mythos or story from the Star Wars universe. It just does a great job of fleshing a new part of their world out for us to play in, and that's the space pirate aspect of the Star Wars universe. There's been a lot of that in the expanded lore. There hasn't been a lot of that in television or movies for Star Wars. This series is doing a great job of kind of giving us what it would look like to be a space pirate a long time ago in a galaxy far, far away. There's still some unanswered questions. It's got one episode left. The cast is good. The kids are doing a great job. It's not hokey. They're not. It doesn't ever take me out of the episode whenever they're playing their characters. They're very well cast. They're a good group, and it's a fun show. altogether, I would say. The only couple of complaints I have is that the fact that there doesn't seem to be any real danger or teeth to the adventure makes it a little harder to get excited about. There's some fun nostalgia things in there, but overall, it's kind of a very mild series to watch. The Jod character is fun, I would say, but he's also very predictable. Like I've never at any point, like watching Muppet Treasure Island or a lot of the other better versions of the Treasure Island story, you kind of start to feel like maybe you wish Long John Silver would turn a new leaf and he would turn out to be a good guy, but it just never happens. They're not doing such a good job of that with Jod. Jod is just kind of a piece of shit from beginning to end. You don't really get much out of him as far as like being a redeeming character or someone that you want to see better things for. You just want him to get caught. He's not overly charming or convincing the children that he's on their side. He's been kind of one note since the beginning, and I would have liked to have seen a little bit more out of that. But altogether, good show. Check it out. It's definitely better than some of the more recent stuff Star Wars has given us. Things that come to mind are the newer trilogy, and then the Book of Boba Fett was just a big stinker. And so this is a much better Star Wars series if you're looking to get into something fun. I don't know that it's worth the money to pay for Disney Plus just for this series. It's certainly not driving people to the format, but if you've already got it and you're just looking for something fun in Star Wars to watch, I would say this is worth your time.
You'll be satisfied with what you already have.
Yeah, you won't feel like you want that 8 hours of your life back by the time you finish it. Also on Disney Plus, another thing that's not going to drive people to the service, but is also good and fun to watch, is What If Season 3 dropped right around Christmas. They did the first half. They did the first couple, like the first 5 episodes, and then they dropped the other 3, like kind of right behind that. It was okay. What If's the arc of quality from season 1 of What If to the end of season 3 of What If is very it's very sad. Like they had a sandbox they could play in where they could tell stories that were incredibly fun and didn't mess with the canon of the MCU. And you would think in that kind of sandbox they'd sell some really, really great stories, and they just didn't. Like the season 3 is very safe. They just took like who's the most popular characters and who aren't we using that we've got contracts to use. So they brought Agatha back for an episode, and then they paired her with Kumail Nanjiani's Kango from Eternals. And I'm assuming they just needed to use Kango in something because he's got a contract, because it was a story of like Agatha in the 1920s becoming a film star, trying to steal all the power of the celestial that's in the center of the earth, and Kango being the last Eternal that she could use for this. And then it also featured Howard Stark in it. Like, it was okay. It was okay. It was funny. But at the end of the day, it was like, I didn't want this story. Who was asking for this? Like, they just needed a vehicle to use these 2 characters, and they, Catherine Hahn has a very like 1920s-esque personality for like a film actor. That's part of her charm. And then obviously Kango in the Eternals movie had been around for hundreds of years and had been a film star for the entirety of it. And they were like, how can we put these 2 together? Great. We got a story of the Kate Bishop Hawkeye and Simu Liu's Shang-Chi as outlaw or as sheriffs in the Wild West and gunslingers. Could not have cared less about that. We got a story of Howard the Duck, voiced by Seth Green, and the Darcy character from the Thor movies. They got together, started a relationship, and had a baby that had incredible space powers. That episode wasn't great either. Like, it was all kind of underwhelming. Like, all of season 3, very underwhelming. And it just like, they had so much they could do. And so many great stories they could tell within the What If universe, and they aren't even using the main Avengers. Like there was a What If, or the Marvel anime or the Marvel manga story where the Avengers are basically the Power Rangers and they fight a Godzilla version of the Hulk. Like that comic exists. I have it. And they did that as an episode of What If, and it wasn't even that great. Like it wasn't as fun as it should have been. So I altogether, if you loved it, love it. But I didn't love it, and I feel like they're ending season 3 of What If. They're done with it. Marvel has already said their intent is to get away from the multiverse stories post Secret Wars. The movies that they're working up to now, they're already like pulling away from all of that. And the end of What If is a great example of how they're already ready to be done with multiverse stuff. And you could tell like it was really like a hand wavy, like here's some ideas, here's a season, let's get that out and get it over with. What actors do we have? Who are we not planning to use? Who has contracts to fill out? Let's get this done and over with. And that was the end of season 3 of What If. So like none of it is anything to write home about. It didn't change the genre. It wasn't defining or crazy, or I at no point was I like, oh my God, I can't believe they're telling the story. I was just like, okay, I mean, this is kind of fun. And I don't know. It's a sign of the fact that there was a window there where they started giving other people an opportunity to tell Marvel stories and kind of take some stuff off of Kevin Feige's plate. And they gave some pretty long reins to people, and they ended up with some shit that just does not work inside the broader MCU. And I think this is the culmination of that. It is so far removed from the best parts of the MCU. And while I will say that it was fun, it was, I mean, if I was giving it like stars out of 10, I'd say it was maybe like a solid 5.5, but not anything better than that.
You mentioned that this was a result of them giving them long reins and the ability to do things that just didn't really connect with the main universe. Do you think this was like a control issue that they just weren't overseeing them enough? Or
so if you look at the trajectory of the MCU for the first 10 years, it was a very solid, very directed storyline that led to one thing, and that was them fighting Thanos, them doing Infinity War and Endgame. And all of the stories, all the post-credit scenes, all the characters introduced, every bit of that had to fit within the narrative that was leading to this one path. And then they finished it. You know, Infinity War was huge. Endgame broke massive records. It was one of the highest earning films of all time. It's a 10-year franchise. And I think after that, after they were successful in that endeavor of this 10-year process of putting out this one long, very well put piece together narrative, they were like, okay, we've succeeded. Now let's give some more people a chance to play in the sandbox. And they lost the direction. I don't think there is a giant whiteboard in the MCU with like, these films all need to hit this note to get to this storyline anymore. I think they threw that out the window and they were like, let's just make some movies. And I think that like with no cohesive direction in the MCU, I think that is what has led to the overall dissatisfaction of Marvel fans with what has been coming out, because it felt like they introduced Kang as the big bad and he was going to be this massive like world ending threat. He was the next Thanos for the MCU. And it seemed like every single movie in that time frame that was supposed to be linking back up with that had no idea what the fuck they were doing. Like there was no direction there, and there was no place where it was just like, okay, this all is going to tie back in later. And we know that's not going to happen now. They're abandoning Kang entirely, and it's all going to be about Doctor Doom now. So like there was no 10-year plan for the next several phases of the MCU. There was just like, okay, what characters do we want to use now? Our main cast is charging us too much to make the movies. So who can we use instead? And there just has been no cohesive narrative with that. And I would go out on a limb and say that on the producer side of this, Kevin Feige was probably like, I can do this again, but you're going to have to pay me more. We're going to have to pay these actors more. And they were like, or we could go a different direction. And I think they did that. And I think he's very much been subject to that. And I think that the MCU has taken a big hit because of it.
Okay.
Billy Rhodes said, I I would say that the MCU kind of needs that whiteboard with red string connecting different points on it. I absolutely agree, Billy. I think that is the direction that they're missing currently. I think that's why we've seen such a decline in the connectivity and the quality of MCU properties. Not everything is in service to one large story point that they're trying to get to. Everything is very much in service to itself, and it shows. There's no larger interconnectivity like we really enjoyed in the first 10 years of the MCU. Deontay said the Howard the Duck episode had him on the floor laughing. I think there were some really funny parts in it. I think that was enjoyable. The fact that it was a sequel to the Party Thor episode of What If Season 2, that's fine. But at the same time, it's like, where were the real like exciting parts of these things? Like, there's just I didn't feel any excitement to what was going on. It felt like very run of the mill. It felt like they were like ticking specific boxes. Like, we've got a couple of characters. This is their alternate origins. This is the thing we're going to do with them. And at the end, they'll be heroes and they'll walk away and blah, 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 whatever. But like, in season 2, we got Marvel Zombies, which was really awesome. It was really well done. Season 1 really brought the stakes with the MCU. And then we got the universe hopping Avengers, which was really cool. And then by the time we get to this one, it was like even the episode where the universe hopping Avengers team led by the Captain Carter got to fighting Watchers on outside of reality. Like, I didn't care. I was like, and the fight was good. Like, it was action packed, but at the same time, it was like, none of these characters do I have such a connection with that I care what happens to any of them. I love the Peggy Carter character. I love the Agent Carter character, but we had seen it so many times already, and it was just like an extension of that. I just felt like there was no real stakes to that. And it doesn't matter because like it's ending and they're not going anywhere after the fact. And they literally copied the ending of Borderlands 3 for the end of What If Season 3. And it was like, that was even that was just like, are we just like, are there no original ideas for this? It's like, it should be the most easily original idea series that Marvel has. And it was all kind of watered down and borrowed, and it was stuff I'd already seen. Like, it wasn't original ideas. As much as I liked the like Avengers / Power Rangers with the Hulk being Godzilla like storyline, they did it just fine in the Marvel Mangaverse. And I don't know, it seemed very disingenuous with the story. It just felt like they were just kind of like throwing shit at the wall and hoping something stuck. It was, I don't know. I think it could have been handled better. And the fact that it was the end of the series, they should have been taking huge swings, not very safe swings. Billy said original ideas. Come on, you know the answer to that. Yes. Nobody in Hollywood does original ideas for anything anymore. It is a real problem. And there are no original ideas. Everything is a version of another thing that has already happened. And that's fine. But, it just seemed very safe. The choices in What If Season 3 seem very safe whenever it should have definitely been the opposite. They should have been very big, bold swings in an attempt to keep the show relevant and to gain market share. And instead it was like, well, we're going out. Let's just get this done and over with. So anyway, What If Season 3, I'd maybe give it a 6 out of 10. Did not blow my skirt up. If I was sitting down to watch all of What If again, like say I was walking past the television and they were playing it on the Sci-Fi Channel, I might sit down and watch it, but I'm never going to seek it out again. It was okay. Okay. All of that to say that it is 2025, guys. We are literally living in the future. And even though it is a new year, it is the same old us. And so this week for the hit list, we are talking about the 5 resolutions you're not going to keep. Welcome back to the show. Welcome to the hit list. We are talking about the 5 resolutions you're not going to keep. Everybody, please have your lists ready. Be getting them into the chat, and we will break them down as they come up. Landon, would you be so kind as to give me your number 5?
Yes, my number 5 is to get my dream job. I'm getting my dream job this year, folks.
Okay. Yeah. What is your dream job, and how is this a resolution you're not going to keep?
Don't have one.
Okay. You don't know what your dream job is?
I don't. Like, I would like to do something in like the creative realm of like focusing on maybe some of my writings, which you can't find out there because I've published literally nothing. Or even like doing something like this for a living. But honestly, like, that's not something I'm going to achieve this year. It's probably not something I'm going to achieve next year.
You hear that, guys? Let's get millions of people watching Cutting Edge Hero, and Landon can just do this full time. It's on you. I can't. I'm doing the best I can. Anyway.
But yeah, that's my number 5. Getting
You're
my
no-
dream job.
Okay. What do we have in chat?
Billy Rhodes is number 5 is stop drinking. Yeah, right. Fuck you.
Billy, I both love and appreciate your resiliency and the fact that you know that you would like to back off from it, but not going to happen. If that ever changes, though, call me. I'll do my best to help you.
Space Boys number 5 is listen to my therapist.
That's great, and I hope that you do keep up with that resolution. And if you don't, that's okay. It is hard. It's very hard to take hard advice and live by it. But yes, hopefully you do stick to that resolution.
Deontay's number 5 is quit drinking. Not going to quit drinking. We'll consume alcohol in moderate levels from here on out.
You know, having a healthy relationship with alcohol is something that some people can just do. Some people just have healthy relationships to alcohol, and some people cannot just do that. Some people do need to put something in place to find a way to have a healthy balance with alcohol. And sometimes, like me, that balance gets out of hand and you have to just step away from it completely. But there's no wrong answer. The important thing is that you wake up happy and satisfied with your relationship with all things. And if you find yourself to be struggling with it, get help, because it exists. It's out there. I'm pretty sure Landon's dream job is a different podcast, not necessarily this one.
I could do multiple podcasts and shows.
Dude, if we get to where podcasting and doing our live shows is our just regular 9 to 5, yeah, I'll help with date night at Power Noodle. I'll do show running while you guys are recording. That's easy peasy. Anyway, Deontay says he's proud of me. I'm proud of you too, brother. I'm proud of you too. I know you've made some big changes this year, and I know that you're looking for a happier, healthier future. And I just want you to know that whatever that looks like, I got your back.
All right. And Rebecca's number 5 is be more social in real life. Lol.
Yeah, Blue, I totally agree with this. Want to be more social in real life. I've been dealing with significant burnout, but I do think it's, a good idea to get out and spend time with friends and do social fun things. And we should figure something out where we can hang out together.
I'm not good at being social in real life. I don't know how people are even social online. I'm just not good at being social. So I really relate to this, Rebecca.
Yeah, Landon and I don't hang out enough at all. We see each other once a week when we do Cutting Edge Hero, and we definitely need to spend more quality time together doing things outside of the show, because he is my real life friend as well as my showrunner.
Yeah, and like the worst part is about only seeing you once a week is that when I'm here, we're both doing work.
Yeah.
And like it's like researchy work, so we can't necessarily talk that much.
Right. Yeah. The time leading up to the show going live, Landon and I just sit here quietly at our desks, researching and doing work, because of course I do everything at the last minute. That's when I find the most inspiration.
Diamonds are made under pressure, Danny.
Yes, absolutely. And that's what we are. One great big diamond. Space Boy said, go on a date. I would go on a date with Landon. He hasn't asked me. Landon, my number 5 is a 4-year-long project that probably isn't going to happen in year 5 either. And that is to finish my home remodel. Whenever we first looked at this house before we bought it, The one condition Katrina had on us buying this house is that I would convert the half bath in our master bedroom to a full bath. And I worked out the plans, the blueprints, got all the stuff together. I have most of the materials, and I just need to like run some plumbing and lay some tile flooring and build the shower, and we can start using that bathroom. And for 4 years, I've had it ripped up and taken out and the walls removed from our master bath, and they have just sat there. And maybe I'll get motivated enough to do it in year 5, but the odds of it happening are pretty slim.
No, I get that. We, in the basement bathroom, we ripped off all the wallpaper because it was coming off anyway, because shower steam and everything.
Mm-hmm.
And we were going to paint the walls, and that has been half painted for about a year now.
Yeah, you'll have that. I got other stuff I got to do around the house too. Like there's just so much I need to get finished.
Yeah. And my thing is just painting. I don't even want to imagine the struggle you're going through.
So when I finish our master bath, then I'm going to gut 2 of the rooms in our basement and build 2 new rooms in the basement, because when they built the rooms in the basement, they built them away from the windows for some reason. And so they can't be classified as real windows. Or real bedrooms. So the value of our house isn't full, because we have a 5-bedroom house, and 2 of the rooms can't be considered rooms. But if I just move them, they would be considered rooms, and the value of the home would go up. So I'm not planning on reselling my house anytime soon, but at some point I would like to add to the value. Rebecca says, oh my God, I'm a god at laying tile. Let me help. Absolutely. I don't know how many ways I can say this, Blue, but you are always welcome to always come help me with all the things that I'm doing. Please. I need you in my life for sure. Anyway, I did my number 5. Landon, what do you got for number 4?
All right. My number 4 this year. I'm doing it. All right. I'm finishing all my projects, every single one, all at the same time.
All in one day, huh?
Yeah. Even the projects that I haven't even started yet, I'm going to finish them. There are this is a problem I realized quite a few years ago, is that I want to do like 5 projects at the same time, but I force myself to only focus on one thing at a time. And I tell myself, you're not allowed to start something new until you get to at least a certain point of where you are now. All right. You cannot start a project working on doing the layouts of one show until you do like 10 scripts of the comic you're working on right now, or something like that.
Yeah.
Like I make those deals with myself before I can start a new project, and it works. I mean, I know the only person holding me accountable is me, and I ain't gonna do shit about it, but it still kind of works.
Yeah. Relying on myself to discipline myself has never worked for me. Spaceboy says, Landon, that's the ADD.
I know it's the ADD. But you know something? I'm working on it. I know I should probably get some sort of medication. Medication sounds nice, but I'm not going to be getting medication anytime soon.
Fantastic. What do we have in chat?
Space Boys, number 4. Read more. I asked for books for Christmas, but yet, when I am not working, all I want to do is hang out with people or watch TV.
I suffer from a very similar problem, Space Boy, and I will add Billy into this statement as well. I love physical books. I love physical books. I love to sit and read. I love the smell of a book. I love the feel of the pages between my fingers. I don't have the time to do that right now. I do not have dedicated time in my day to sit and hold a book and read, where I don't already have to be being productive or doing something else. So I have really this year leaned into audiobooks, and it has been great. Libby is a great resource. It's free. All you have to do is have a library card. There's also a bunch of websites on the internet where you can just stream audiobooks that you shouldn't be able to. It's illegal technically, but you're not housing it, you're not downloading it, you're just listening to it. They shouldn't be able to come back on you for that. But that being said, like Audible isn't super expensive, and if you just use the free things you get a month, you can get 1 book a month. That'll give you a chance to read. I will say Libby has been great, though. I've read a lot of audiobooks on Libby.
Yes, and local libraries actually tend to have apps that allow for you to check out audiobooks if you have a library card.
That's Libby.
That is Libby?
That's Libby.
Oh, I
Yes.
thought... never mind.
Yeah, it used to be called something else, but they like partnered with Libby and they like merged. So Libby's like the app for that now.
Gotcha.
But anyway, so I would say, and if you struggle with listening to audiobooks, I don't know how to help you with that. But if you just don't have time to sit and read physical books, audiobooks are a great option. They've worked for me.
Yeah.
What else we got?
Speaking of, Billy Rhodes' number 4 is to read more, but my dyslexia gets really annoying about it. So probably not going to happen. It would appear that me and Spaceboy are on the same page. That is what Billy sounds like in real life, folks.
That was solid, too. That's a solid pun. I enjoyed that.
Rebecca's number 4 is have less panic attacks.
That one, I hope that you managed to stick to that one. Panic attacks are not fun. I hate them. I was having them for a while there, and they suck.
Yeah. They happen once in a blue moon for me, but when they do, it's terrible.
Yeah. Hopefully you can find a good anxiety med that works for you, or a Zen teaching, or yoga, or, start being a serial killer. You've got options. There's ways to work through your anxiety, and hopefully you find something that works for you. And if not, I won't love you any differently. It's okay, even being your anxious self.
Mm-hmm. Deontay's number 4 is spending money irresponsibly. Always a new streaming service, gotta add to my list of bills, and eating out is just so much better than cooking 7 days a week. Lamau.
Yeah, there's nothing that tastes better than food someone else prepared.
Mm-hmm.
Big fan of it. I also hate doing dishes. That's my ADHD. It is literal fucking torture to have to stand in one place and do one boring thing for 10 minutes. It kills me.
My job is doing dishes, so
Yeah.
It's pretty easy for me at this point, actually.
Yeah.
But yeah, it's just cooking. Cooking's not fun when you're just doing it for yourself.
Yeah, I love to cook for other people. There's nothing that brings me greater joy than fixing a meal and watching other people enjoy it. And I'll do that 7 days a week and be happy about it. But if I got to cook for myself, it's like a ham and cheese sandwich and some chips. Like, that's all the effort I want to put into food.
The most I really do is, if I'm just cooking for myself, the most I do is like boil eggs for egg salad sandwiches or something.
Yeah. Billy always manages to distill my messages down to the bare truth. Yes, I will still love you, even if you decide not to become a serial killer.
It's good to know.
Yeah. We got anything else in chat?
I think that's everything.
My number 4 is something that has been on my list for a very long time, and I've never been able to make it happen, and it's probably not going to happen this year. Get swole. I would like to look like an Adonis. I would like to physically embody what Batman looks like on a comic page, so that whenever I do cosplays, people just go, holy shit, that's Batman, and not, who's that guy in the muscle suit over there. It hasn't happened in the last 42 years. Probably not going to happen this year, but God, I would love to.
Danny, you're an Adonis to me.
Landy, stop. That's redonkulous. But yeah, Ben Stewart, our human relations specialist and fact checker extraordinaire, who is not in the chat today, is far further along on the getting swole side of things. He's massive right now. He has just been killing it in his home gym, and I have not. I don't have the discipline for it, and I really need someone to show up, live in my house, and make me work out every day, and also do everything else. What's that cost to have a personal person who does all of that for you? Because I need one. Billy Rhodes said only if it's absolute Batman. Jesus Christ, absolute Batman is literally one giant muscle. It's fucking crazy.
He's a wide man.
He's a big guy. Yeah, he's freaking ridiculously big.
Yeah. Speaking of Ben, I'm pretty sure he could just kill me with just one arm. Just reach out, grab my skull, and just squeeze.
So my baby brother Ben, we're 11 years apart. He is 6'5", solid fucking muscle. He's a prison guard. That's what he does for a living. He beats people up for money, and he's like huge, just fucking huge. Like he was scrawny his whole life, and he decided this last couple of years, like, fuck it, I'm gonna get giant, and he is. He's enormous, like in a good way, in the best way. He's just physically dominating. It's crazy.
I didn't realize this was only a last few years kind of thing. The entire time I've known him, he's been huge.
Yeah. He's I mean, he's always been bigger. I mean, he's 6'5". He's built like a farmhand, but in the last couple of years, Ben has really put the time and effort into building some muscle, and it's crazy. He's just massive. Anyway, what do we have in the chat for number 3s? Guys, where's them number 3s at?
I don't think there's anything in the chat for number 3s.
How about Landon's?
Yeah.
Why don't we do it in the correct order? Landon, what's your number 3?
My number 3, improve my editing skills.
Oh.
I'd like to think I'm at least a competent editor when it comes to video and audio. But I would like to get better at it than what I currently am, do some fun flourishes and everything.
Yeah.
I just need more material to work with, and I hate putting myself in front of a camera, and I hate recording my voice when I'm alone. So it's a bit difficult to make that whole cloth from just me and myself.
If only there was a darling of the stage and screen in your life that you could lean on for these kind of things.
If only there was, if only there was.
If only there was. I see we've got Space Boys number 3 in the chat.
Yeah, I'll get back to you on that.
Okay, yeah. Feel free to do so.
Yeah, but Space Boys number 3 is get takeout less. I don't know, man. Work gets hard. And when I have a bad day, I go, ooh, silly little treat. I want Culver's.
I do think fast food is a real problem for me. There's sometimes whenever I forget to eat entirely and I don't have an option to just go home and make food, and I don't have an option to go anywhere else. So it's fast food, or I pass out and crash into a fucking building. So sometimes I'll be like, yeah, I guess I'll stop and get a burger or something really fast just so I can have something in my stomach. And it sucks. I hate it. I would rather stay away from fast food entirely. I would definitely stay away from Culver's. This isn't a judgment. It's just I've never enjoyed anything at Culver's. I don't know why. It's not my thing.
Cheese curds, man. They go hard.
I know. And I should probably give them another chance because it's been a long time since I've eaten at Culver's. But the times I've eaten there, I haven't enjoyed it.
I get a lot of fast food too. Part of it is just I'm on the go a lot. I'm on the go less since college ended.
Yeah.
But I'm on the go a lot, and it's like, okay, do I make myself a sandwich? Do I have bread right now? Do I have lunch meat right now? It always seems when I have one, I don't have the other, so I can't make myself something simple and quick.
Yeah.
And then, oh gosh, I don't plan for these things. I'm already out here, and look, Rhodes is on the way. I can get a monster and an overpriced food item of some kind. Oh wow, a $5 grilled cheese? Hell yeah! Is it not that great? Hell yeah!
I moonlighted at our local Rhodes gas station for a couple of months 2 years ago, right around Christmas. I worked there for literally like 2 months just to like get some extra money at Christmas time. And the prices on their food is so ridiculous. It's the one thing I have to say about them. I like them as a company, and I don't have anything against them, but like $6 for a like run of the mill double cheeseburger is insane. Like nobody's gonna pay that when you can just go get a McDouble for like $2 at McDonald's. But people do. People did. I mean, I would make them and sell them. It was common, and I never do get it. But
for me, it's convenient. I'm already there picking up an energy drink because I have a long night at work, and and I know I'm gonna be there till close to midnight, and I need that energy boost. And oh look, it's here, and I don't want to drive to McDonald's.
Okay. Got it.
Billy Rhodes, number 3 is, this year, I really will keep up with regular maintenance on my car. I promise.
You'd be doing better than I am. I don't keep up with the regular maintenance on my car. I wish I was that, like, check your oil, get it changed regularly, take care of all the stuff on your car dad. I'm not. My dad was. I'm not. I don't know. I never got that. That never rubbed off on me. I'm a stop looking at the oil change needed light on my dash. I'll figure it out when it gets there.
My dad was very much that as well, and I think he ingrained it into me pretty well. I think I'm pretty good at keeping up with my car maintenance, although I did have to hit my wheel with a 2x4 to get it off earlier today.
What?
Yeah, I got a flat after I had to get my car towed because my car is falling apart at the seams and it's more expensive to fix than what the car is worth.
Yeah, you'll have that.
Yeah. And I could not get the wheel off because it got a random flat at the exact same time. And my dad was just straight up like, oh, yeah, this happens. Get a piece of plywood, put it over the wheel, get a 2x4, hit it a few times, and it'll come right off. And boy, howdy, it did.
Mm-hmm. Yep. Yeah. A lot of times you can do that, or you can take a sledgehammer to the side of the tire. Not the wheel, not the metal
rim.
part, just the rubber part. You can hit it with a sledgehammer. That'll break it loose. What really happens is that when you tighten the lugs down, it sits up on that leg, and then like brake dust will build up around it, and it like cements it in place. So you just have to break all that free, so it'll come off. But yeah, I'm glad you had someone there to help you with that.
Yeah, car maintenance is fun, folks.
Yeah, I work on cars when I feel up to it and have the time and want to do it, but it's just I just it's the last thing I ever want to do. And it seems like every time I try to do something like fixing a car wise, if it's like a 30-minute like change one part, it always turns into like a 3-hour fucking process. And so I just hate doing it. Like every single time I've ever needed to do anything on a car, it takes me 4 times as long as it's supposed to, and I hate it.
Okay, so bit of car rant. I have a Dodge Avenger, which every time I've looked up how to do something on it, there's always a paragraph or a tirade somebody has about how this is a Frankenstein car put together with the spare parts they had at the factory at the time. So nothing fits right and everything is much more difficult to take care of than it should be. And so everything is more annoying to do than it really should be.
Yeah, I get that. I totally get that.
Yeah. Moving on.
Yeah. What's Deontay's number 3?
Deontay's number 3 is leave interracial porn alone. The country is divided right now. It's the only proof I have that we can come together.
Deontay, it sounds like you need to continue investing in interracial porn and spreading the message of it to everyone. You need to go door to door, making everyone aware of the gospel of interracial porn and how it's a marker as our society that we can come together as a people and leave some of that generational hatred that has plagued our country for so long behind. So you're doing the Lord's work, my friend. You're doing the Lord's work.
As long as it's not like chaser stuff, Deontay. As long as it's not like going into that territory and they're saying some really fucked up shit in the porn, I think you're fine. As long as they just don't go into that really fucking weird territory where this is meant to appeal to racists, essentially. You're doing fine.
Yes, Landon with very valid concerns as to how you're consuming your interracial porn. Now, we don't kink shame. We don't. At this show, we're very pro-sex and very healthy sex. But yeah, maybe leave some of the more hate-filled, bigoted stuff in the past where it belongs. But if that's your thing, as long as you're not hurting anyone else, I guess. And I don't know how to handle it. Like, you put me in a weird place, Landon. Carry on. What else do we have?
I'm sorry. There's some weird fucking shit out there.
There absolutely is. Yeah.
There's a reason why I don't use volume.
Right. Yeah. My snuff porn collection is very frowned upon.
I always hit mute, but okay. That's just where I was going for. Rebecca's number 3 is read more books off my TBR to be read than I buy. but I've read nothing in months, and I have 8 books pre-ordered already.
Yeah, so I actually talked her into getting Way of Kings, the first book in the Cosmere, or the first book in the Stormlight Archive. They're massive; they're over 1,000 pages, and she's got that to read on top of a whole bunch of other books. So, yeah, good luck with that. I hope that you manage to succeed at your resolution.
But yeah, I think that's everything in chat.
I saw Deontay said the key to ending bigotry is BBC. Yes, the British Broadcasting Channel could end bigotry once and for all.
I don't know. I think the BBC has promoted bigotry in the past.
Oh, you think he's talking about a different BBC?
Maybe. I don't know.
What could it be?
I have no idea.
Yeah, me neither. Moving along, my number 3. This one's been on my list for a long, long time, probably since I was in my teens. Finish writing that novel. I have started and am several chapters into like 5 different novels and ideas that I have had for a book. They're good ideas. I love them. I love working on them. I love adding to them. I think about them all the time. But as far as sitting down and writing and adding to these stories so that they can someday be shared with the world, I have gone nowhere with that in years. They've just been sitting in my phone notes, on random pieces of paper in my car, in varying journals that are down here on the shelf, and in the Microsoft Word program on my MacBook. And none of them are going anywhere, and they're all just sitting there. I have at varying times sent some of them to friends who also write, hoping I could get some honest feedback and maybe "you've got this, we believe in you," or "these are great starts." I have received no positive feedback from them, and that is disheartening. So someday I will get around to them, maybe in my late 50s. Billy said, "Danny, could I read some of what you wrote? No rush. It will apparently take me forever to read it." But anyway.
Well, are you going to answer Billy or?
Yes, Billy, I will send you the files to some of the stuff I've written. You can read it eventually.
Yay.
Landon, what did you have for number 2?
My number 2. Yes, it's finally get organized.
Oh.
Like, whenever it comes to, like I said, my projects and everything, I'm like, okay, focus on this, put the other stuff away from now, and just do this. I'd say that's a very good source of like time organization. But when it comes to my physical space, it's a mess. I have nothing put where it needs to be. My desk is a mess. I think I have like 15 unused napkins just sitting in different positions, but they get used eventually.
Yeah.
It's a disorganized mess that I know where everything is, but it still should be like more put together. And I would like to do that more. I know it's not going to happen.
Yeah.
I'm a disorganized person.
Yeah, staying organized is a real problem for me. So one of the biggest problems that I deal with is that when I put something somewhere, I remember that I put it there. The problem is that flat surfaces don't exist in my house. If there's a spot not taken, I will put something on it. Now, my wife, who is the most type A human being you will ever meet in your entire life, believes that flat surfaces should exist and things should belong where they belong and not sitting out on a random table, counter, blah, 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 whatever. So what happens in our life is that I leave a thing where I will remember where it is at, so that whenever I come back by, I will then use that thing. You know, it's like I need to be able to visually see it because I struggle with object permanence. And if I don't leave a thing where I will see it regularly, I will forget it exists and I'll never take care of it. So like that bill I need to pay, or that thing I need to work on, or that tool I was planning to use, or whatever. I need to put it in a place where it will be visually available for me whenever it's time to get around to it. And so that I'm reminded that I intended to do this thing. Katrina will then take that thing and put it somewhere else where she thinks it belongs. And then I'll forget it exists for 6 months. And then I'll need to find it. And I'll have no idea where it's at. And she won't remember where she put it because she doesn't care about it. She just didn't want it in the place where I left it. And so things just go away. Case in point, our dining room table has 2 leaves that go into it to make it bigger because we're a large family and we have a large family, a large extended family. And so sometimes we have a lot of people in our house and sometimes we need a table big enough to accommodate that. I know where one of them is. I can't find the second one and neither of us know where it is. I put it somewhere. I'm assuming I would remember where it's at. And it got moved to somewhere. I don't know where it's at. And neither of us know where it is. And we've turned our house upside down and we cannot find it. But anyway, that happens all the time in our house, constantly. And it is a lack of organization on my part. And it is an overabundance of organization on Katrina's part that I am not privy to. And it creates nothing but problems.
Like, you've just not figured out like where her brain would logically put something.
Doesn't work. Yeah, we don't line up like that, so I can't put myself inside of her mind. I know what reaction she will make to things most of the time. I couldn't tell you where she put something because she thought it belonged there, because we don't agree on that most of the time.
That makes sense. See, I know that if my space is inhabited by another person, like if I'm at work or something, in all of my previous jobs and everything, people have loved coming in after I have worked in a space because they're like, because I do organize, I do clean, I do like set things straight because I know somebody else is going to be messing with that. And I want things to work for them. When it's other people's issues, I'm very keen on keeping things organized. When it's just me, I couldn't give less of a fuck.
It's very interesting because I have run and been in charge of several businesses, and professionally, as a professional human being in charge of other people's businesses, I am very organized. I put things where they belong. I keep up with them. Everything has a home. I log paperwork and have everything saved in a drive and filed away. And I know where everything is all the time. You need it. I got it like that. In my day-to-day life, I am the exact opposite. When I come home, I take all of that off. I set it aside because it's not who I really am. That's who I pretend to be for professional purposes. And I'm not that person. And it's very interesting because Katrina knew me in a professional setting before we started a relationship in a personal setting. And so she has this image of me as this like organized, methodical manager who's on top of everything. And then we started, we went our separate ways and then we started dating. And then she learned my personal life and saw that I am the exact opposite of that. And so she's got these two very different images of me and they don't line up. But thankfully she still liked me after she got to know the real me. So that worked out in my favor.
Yeah. The people we pretend to be for our jobs.
Yes, absolutely. It is the autistic masking. I am very good at putting on a very organized professional cosplay and pretending to be very, very good at running businesses for sure. Yeah. What else we got?
All right. Space Boys number 2. I will buy things for myself and not feel intense buyer's remorse about it the moment I leave the store.
That's a tough one. Impulse buying is, it's my Achilles heel, and feeling guilty about that impulse buy always happens after the fact. It's like, I could have put this money somewhere else. And usually it's like FOMO as well. It's like, I could have spent this money on another thing I wanted. And I didn't think about that while I was super hyper fixated on this one thing I want. But yeah, no, I get it. The pressure of being fiscally irresponsible, even when you can afford it, is hard. Yeah.
Space Boy. Oh no, I don't impulse buy. Yeah, I know Space Boy. They're more like, I don't want to spend money on myself when I could spend it on other people. I like making other people happy. I think for the store for 2 hours, then don't buy it, or buy it and feel like shit. That too.
That's rough. Space Boy. I feel for you.
Billy Rhodes number 2. Actually do the paperwork that I'm required to do at my job. I mean, I've gotten away with it for like 4 years now, though. So we'll see what happens.
Yeah, if there's no repercussions, I couldn't see why you'd want to put the extra work in. That doesn't seem like something I'd want to dive into.
I mean, Yeah, there's definitely lots of things that if you don't do it and don't face consequences, you're just gonna stop doing it.
Yeah, like I think that like in year one, somebody being like, "Why aren't you doing this paperwork?" You could be like, I'm sorry, I'll get to that." By year four, it's like, "Why aren't you doing this paperwork?" It's like, "Because you didn't make me. That's your fault, not mine."
Yeah. When I first started working at Chick-fil-A as my first job, I was very like, they were very much like, you have to keep your hair a certain length, you have to be clean shaven, all this good stuff. And like by the time I was about to leave, I was like showing off, like, yeah, with my hair swooped over, it looks short, but if I pull it out all the way, then it's clearly like going down to like um, halfway down my face. And one of like the team leads was like, I can write you up for that. And I was like, do it.
Yeah.
Just do it. I don't care.
Fun story from my much younger life. Whenever I was 17, I got hired at a Kentucky Fried Chicken. I got hired with very long hair, and the manager, or the general manager, came in like a week into my employment and said, "You can't have long hair and work here." And I was like, "You guys hired me with long hair. I'm not cutting my hair." And they were like, "You can't work here if you have long hair." And I was like, "I've if you had told me that before I took the job, yes, I would have either, cut my hair or not taken the job based on that rule. But you guys hired me this way and I've been working here. You can't come in after the fact and be like, cut your hair or you don't work here anymore. Like that doesn't make sense." And she was like, "I'll give you 2 weeks to cut your hair." So I worked there for another 2 weeks and I came into work one day and she's like, "Didn't I tell you to cut your hair or you wouldn't be working here?" And I was like, "Yes, you did." And she was like, "Well, then you don't work here anymore." And I was like, "That's really shitty. Like you hired me with long hair and did not tell me that that was a requirement." Now, that being said, I was 17 years old and I didn't feel like fighting about a fast food job, but that's really shitty. Like, don't do that to people. Make it a requirement at the start. Don't bait and switch after they're already hired. That was bullshit.
Yeah.
Anyway, moving along.
Deontay's number 2 is finish the Walking Dead TV series. I'm just gonna binge anime.
Deontay, I would not advise finishing the Walking Dead television series. That show took a shit very early on, and you're better off to just read the comics. It's so much better than that TV series. Now, granted, you won't get into Daryl Dixon, and that's really the only reason anybody watched that series anyway, because he's not in the comics. But it's really a much better story. Just very much better story.
Yeah. Deontay, I do get that though. I do want to watch more television shows. That is mostly what is on the laundry list of things people tell me to do / watch / read / whatever. And I'm like, okay, I'm gonna one day start getting on this list. I'm gonna hack away at it and actually watch stuff so that I can engage in conversation with people. And then I'm like, but what if I put another 1,000 hours into RimWorld instead? What if I did that?
And to speak to Deontay going to binge anime instead, like season 2 of Solo Leveling has just started dropping. Like the Dandadan was incredible. We're getting Dragon Ball Daima. The dubs are coming out soon. There's just and it's just going to continue. There's so many other anime series that are just, moving on to like second seasons that I can't wait to see, like Chainsaw Man season 2. We just got an announcement that they're finally making headway on season 3 of One Punch Man. Like there's just so much good shit out there. We're getting more JJK. Obviously it's the last season, but it's definitely going to be a fucking banger. Like there's so much good stuff going on in anime right now. How about a subpar series from AMC that ran its course within the first couple of seasons, and is really surviving on the fan popularity of Daryl Dixon and then Jeffrey Dean Morgan being brought in as Negan. Those couple of great parts, you can see them in clips on YouTube and not sit through the hours and hours of absolute bullshit that television series is, and still get kind of the same enjoyment out of it. So I would say go ahead and binge anime anyway. It's your better option. And then, maybe someday in the nursing home, you can sit down and watch all of Walking Dead when you've got literally nothing else going on in your life. What else we got?
Rebecca's number 2 is lower the screen time on my phone. It's a losing battle.
I'm with you on this one. I seem to always be trying to be on my phone less, and I keep reminding myself, like, stop doom scrolling. Stop sitting on your phone for hours at night when you should be trying to go to sleep. You know, when you're bored, find something else to do that isn't staring at your phone, doing absolutely fucking nothing. Like, you know, work on a thing you've been meaning to do when you're bored. But it's just so easy to park my ass in a chair and take my phone out and scroll shit. And I seem to be, no matter how often I try to reduce that time, I seem to be increasing it.
The only time I ever really use my phone is when I'm at work, when there's nothing else to do
Yeah.
besides just stand around. And when I'm at home, I'm usually playing video games, which is just as much of a useless activity as looking at my phone.
It's more screen time. I will say that you're consuming stories. Like, whereas, like, when you're sitting with a book in your hand, it looks like you're doing something productive no matter what it is you're reading, and you're consuming a medium and a story that is important to you. Video games are the same thing. Like, the difference between physically reading a book and playing a video game to consume a story or a narrative that you're excited about, I don't see the difference. They're just different forms of media. That being said, if you're literally just like grinding levels in a video game, like, yeah, you're just wasting time. But it is what it is. I don't know.
Yeah.
No judgment. I think we're far enough along in the fact that video games are a viable option and medium for storytelling and enjoying a narrative that we need to take the stigma off of spending your time playing video games when it's really just an interactive way to enjoy a narrative that excites you.
See, this is going to be a bit of a tangent, but
Go
my
for it.
problem is that video games hit the same like reward system in my brain that like doing a job does. Like, oh yeah, I have done work, and since I have completed this task of whatever it is, I get the dopamine reward. And so if I get into video games, it makes me want to do like my other projects and my other work less because it feels like I've accomplished things in the video game.
Yeah.
Whereas I want to accomplish things in real life as well, like writing my comic scripts or working on that book or doing an outline for a show or something like that.
Mhm.
And because of that, that's why I feel as though video games make me less productive.
I can see that.
Yeah.
I can see that. I get hyper fixated on games. Like, I'll start a game and it'll just be like, mentally, I lie to myself every time, and I'm like, I'm gonna play this for fun, play it a little bit, and I'll come back to it, you know, every couple days, and it'll be fun. Like, I'll just have a good time with it. And then I fall down a fucking rabbit hole and I dump 87 hours into a game that I only intended to put like maybe 3 hours a week into. And it's problematic. And yeah, it's screen time. It's getting swept up in things that at the end of the day have added no amount of value to my life or the things I'm trying to accomplish before I, you know, skid sideways into the grave that has been waiting for me my entire life. You know, I don't want to spend the last year of my life trying to accomplish all the shit that I intended to do in the first 60 years.
Mm-hmm.
But anyway, we got any other in the chat? We do not. My number 2 is one that I have just been trying and struggling with for so many years, and it's the reason why we're still a small show. I know that this 100% rests on my shoulders, and it is social media consistency. The number one thing that will grow your brand on social media, that will make you get you from doing it for as a hobby to doing it as a living, is being consistent, is showing up every day, making 2 social media posts on every platform, talking about the thing you're doing, just grinding. It is daily, weekly fucking grinding to grow the experience and your audience for whatever it is you're doing. And it's like literally anyone can do it. There's so many like dumb, terrible properties out there that are internet successful, and it's literally just the fact that they were crazy enough to stick to it every single day. And I do not have the ability, momentum, focus to stay on top of these things and grow what has been a passion project for the last like 6 years into a real life professional. Like, this is what I do for a living. And I literally have no one to blame but myself. I would love to believe that I'm going to be able to do it this next year. But if the last 6 years are any indicator, I'm not going to make it happen.
I've tried to get into doing posts on social media, but I just truly can't believe that anybody wants to hear my internal thoughts like that. And like for a show like this, it's probably a little bit easier because you can like hype up your own show a bit. You can talk about like your plans for the future and stuff like that. I mean, Lord knows Lord knows you're doing a good job when it comes to Cape events because you are hyping up the big events, the Anime Con and the Comic Con, and you're like, we're gonna have these guests, and and they've been in these things, and every few days you can remind people like, hey, these people who did this character, you're gonna see them soon. But for Cutting Edge Hero here, uh beyond reminding people that we have a weekly show and maybe hinting at what we're going to be talking about, what could you really talk about besides that?
It's short form video. If I could do like a YouTube short or TikTok or Instagram reel or Facebook reel, if I could just do like 2 of those a day talking about some nerd thing and share it, where I get some kind of a following there, and then people tune in to see us regularly talking about it in our much longer video format, I think that would grow Cutting Edge Hero for sure. I mean, we do some fun things. I'm into nerd shit. I'm always adding to my collection. I could do unboxing videos. There's a litany of things I could do that would gauge people's interest. Also, I could just pick a topic and get on my soapbox every day.
Yeah.
A couple times a day, or at least once a day. And I think that would grow it as well.
Have like a little nerd out minute.
That's all true. I don't have the ability to do that. I have a handful of times with different formats of the shows we've been doing, leaned on other people to manage our social media and try to grow. And I just never get the kind of consistency out of those people that I would like to see. And the audience never grows the way that it should. I've been fortunate in that I've had some people that are already viral on TikTok be a part of the show for a little bit, but then that always went sideways. But there's just never been anybody who consistently wants to show up, be part of it, run social media, and not make it about themselves and actually make it about growing the experience of being on Cutting Edge Hero. I'm so nonplussed about it. And I know that it's not going to happen if I don't do it myself. And that's just where I live now, So, and I'm just not someone who can rely on me for sure. But anyway. What did Billy say? In the long run, I think it's probably healthier for you to not be a social media so much. Maybe your brand may suffer, but maybe you're happier. Don't beat yourself up. Although, like you said earlier, your success with the podcast might equal my success. So get your ass out there. Thank you, Billy. I appreciate that. Yes, I will put myself second. And Billy also said that on the screen time discussion we were having, he said, I have the same problem with The Sims. My sim is a very successful, super hot guy. And in real life, I'm just a huge sloppy bitch. I do refer to you as a sloppy bitch now and then, but it's not anything physical. It's literally just that you're a sloppy bitch, Billy. But anyway, Landon, I think that brings us to the culmination of this list. Are you ready to give me your number 1? Landon, your number 1, please.
All right. My number 1, the thing I'm going to do this year, work on my mental health. No, not happening this year. Hasn't happened in the past. I occasionally try to go to therapy, but you know what? Therapy is a little too expensive, and I'd have to keep it up in my own personal time. That's not happening. Yeah. Working on my mental health. Not happening.
Okay. Landon, I support you in your mental health journey. I do hope that you manage to find some relief there. And Billy said he's not sure how to react to me saying he's just a sloppy bitch and it has nothing to do with his physical appearance. But yeah, no, Landon, always take your mental health seriously. If you can't find a good therapist in your area, reach out to some online resources. BetterHelp has a really great thing. We also have the community counseling center in town. They waive a lot of fees and work on a sliding scale. Usually they can find you something affordable. They do have like a 6-month plus wait list, but if you signed up for it 6 months ago, you'd be seeing a therapist today. Please, everyone, take your mental health very seriously. Get the help that you need. There are options out there. And if you need some advice or someone to direct you towards it, I've been dealing with a very difficult mental health journey myself over the last couple of years, and I've been through kind of everything. So I'm more than happy to help. Anyway, Landon, what do we have in chat?
Space Boys, number 1 is stop overthinking things all the time.
But are you really overthinking them? Have you thought about that? I'm just trying to help.
Clearly. Deontay's number 1 is less social media and content creation. One part of me wants to retire from talking my shit on everyone's podcast, but another part of me is ready to go train with Ra's al Ghul to protect Gotham.
Yeah, that's a hard line to walk. I'll do the one you don't choose. How's that sound? You just let me know what path we're taking. I'll walk the path you don't, and then we can swap whenever we get tired of that. Spaceboy said Better Health has been known to allow therapists quotations, but they actually don't have the certification. Psychology Today is recommended by 988 for Missouri for anyone who needs it. There you go. So there's another asset, Psychology Today. And Deontay said, deal. He's going to take me up on that. We'll let you know how that works out next year, whenever we cover whether or not we kept these resolutions that we weren't planning to keep anyway. What else in chat, guys? We are looking for your number 1s. If you want to throw them down, I would appreciate it. Let's get this thing done and over with.
In this downtime, quick side note about Date Night with Power Noodles. I really rapidly edited the last episode I posted and just threw it out onto YouTube because immediately after I had to go into finals mode for, college. And
so are you defending the quality of it? Like you're already making excuses and it just came out?
No. I have no excuse for the actual quality of it. But I was just saying, Deontay, I noticed that you commented on the video because I did not look at it after I posted it. I was just like, throw it up. It now doesn't exist for me anymore.
Yeah.
And then a month later, I came back, saw that you commented, Deontay, and thank you for that. I know you did not listen to all 3 hours of the podcast because holy shit, that's a lot. And I don't think I could listen to 3 hours of it. But thank you, Deontay. Thank you for that.
Yeah, Deontay is out here doing it. Like he really supports all of us. We try our best to support him as well as he supports everyone, but he's kind of like on top of it. And I always appreciate that.
Oh, yeah. Deontay, you are fantastic. You really do love supporting everybody and all their endeavors. And I do thank you for that.
To quote my good friend, Snoop D-O-double-G, you're the shiznizzle for Rizzle.
Hell yeah.
Hell yeah.
Okay. You cleaned your entire apartment while listening to Power Noodles. Hell yeah.
Way to be, Deontay. Way to be.
But Billy Rhodes, number 1, inspired by Deontay. I think I'm going to watch more interracial porn. We all need to come together.
Yeah. If we could do a watch along of all this interracial porn, I think it would solve a lot of problems.
Okay, I'm throwing the bit aside for a second.
Yeah.
I do not think I could watch porn with any of you guys.
Really?
Yeah.
Huh. Well, is it because you're into like such freaky shit? Like we couldn't handle it, or like you would feel weird watching porn with another person? Like what's the hang up for you there?
I don't know. Watching porn with another person that I'm not going to be having sex with always just felt weird. It doesn't come
Oh,
up often.
okay. I've never watched porn with another person that I wasn't intending to have sex with.
Yeah.
And that doesn't matter what setting I'm in.
Yeah.
Yeah, it could just be a bunch of dudes. Like I'm still good to go.
Is this conversation happening?
Oh, this conversation is happening. Absolutely. That's why the TVMA notice goes up before the show.
Yes. But anyway, Rebecca's number 1, write a book. I only have 6 different plots storyboarded in their entirety.
I'm not shocked by this at all. She is a very similar to Katrina, a very type A human being. She is organized. She is on top of it. She's high functioning. And I honestly, I can't wait to read anything you've written, Rebecca. Much like Billy's proposition for me to send him things I've written, please send me some of the stuff you've written. I'd love to look over it. Now, that being said, I've had one of Landon's scripts for one of his comic books for like 6 months now, and it's still in my drawer of shit I need to get around to. So I can't guarantee I'll read it fast, but I will read it eventually. The path to hell is lined with good intentions, and my intentions are the best ones.
So no Power Noodle porno watch along happy hour?
I'm down for it. I'll record that episode.
You know what? I may sit out for that one. Billy, you could take lead on that. I trust the show in your hands.
Yeah, it's a solo episode. We'll say it's like
you're guest hosting.
We'll say it's the date night at Power Doodles, just only I, Billy episode, and we can abbreviate that to date night at Power Doodles, JOI Billy.
You're proud of that, aren't you? I mean, it was good. I'll give you that.
Right off the dome, just put that together. Anyway. I think that's all the lists in chat.
Yeah, Spaceboy did have a bonus of keep my room clean and put my laundry away. Yeah, that takes a lot of spoons I don't have.
Billy, there's no way there's not Fallout porn. There's no way there isn't Fallout porn in existence. There's got to be something, especially with the release of the Amazon Prime series.
Yeah, I was going to say.
There has got to be something out there.
After the show, yeah, there is.
Yeah, absolutely. Billy said, JOI Billy. I love it. Thank you. That's a free one. You can have that idea free of charge. My number 1, and I think I've basically been listing this with all my other things that I've listed, is to finally get some motivation. I swear to God, if I could get an ounce of motivation, just the smallest amount, put right here in the old veins, I'd be ruling the world already. Like I have none, and I have had none for the majority of my life. It is a slog to accomplish or do or build or do anything, and it has been as long as I have been drawing breath. And goddamn, if I could just wake up one day excited and able to focus on and do the things that I intend to do, I'd change the world. I would, because I wouldn't know what the fuck to do with myself. I'd be like the Flash, moving super fast. Like I would just be accomplishing everything in one day. It's not going to happen this year. It hasn't happened the last 42 years. It's not going to happen in year 43.
I'll tell you the same thing I've heard so many creatives say about motivation. It is fleeting. It never lasts that long, and the real thing to get stuff done is discipline. Granted, for a lot of people, that's even harder to get than motivation, but it's what actually gets stuff done.
It takes 21 days to build a routine, and my attention span lasts at best 3 days. So that's never going to happen. I would need to increase my attention span by 700% before I could create a single routine in my life, and it's not going to happen. I'm trying. I swear to God, I'm trying. I've never not been trying. It just doesn't work. Billy said, I want to switch my number 1 to finally make that JOI video. And Rick is in the chat. My boy P, what is up? Glad you are here. Motivation for procrastination. Yeah, I am on that with you. If I could just I'm not sure if you're saying you need to find the motivation to procrastinate or you would like to swap motivation for procrastination. But I am an expert procrastinator and terribly unmotivated until the very last minute when that sweet, sweet dopamine hits. So I am with you. And I think that is it for this week's hit list. Rick, if you've got the other 4 numbers on your list and you want to throw it in, feel free to do so. We will deal with it after the fact in social media. Glad you're here. He says better late than never. I'm just happy you're here. I don't care how long you were here or what part of the show you showed up for. I'm just glad you did. Anyway, next week for the hit list, we are going to do our 5 sexiest meals. That's right. It's the food that gets you going. That is going to be our hit list next week. I'm sure Billy will have some very strong opinions, being a cook himself, and Rebecca, being a former professional chef, should have some very interesting things to say as well. The rest of us, there's no wrong answer. Have a good time. But anyway, for this week, this has been the hit list. And that does it for the show this week. Billy said this hit list ended in a place I didn't expect. Fantastic. But anyway, thank you guys for being a part of the show. Thank you for showing up every week. Thank you for helping us put on a great show. And thank you for getting your lists in. We appreciate you guys. It'd be well, we've done it before where it's just Landon and I making a list. That one time it was just me, which was pretty weird. But anyway, thank you for being a part of the show. Thank you guys for showing up every week. We couldn't do this show without you. And we love and appreciate each and every one of you. Thank you for starting off 2025 with Cutting Edge Hero. Hopefully you're ending 2025 with Cutting Edge Hero as well. Landon, do you have anything you want to say to the nice people?
As always, thank you for coming out and chatting with us in the YouTubes and the Twitches and the Facebooks. I'm been applying for jobs, and one of my jobs asked for permission to do a background check. And I'm just imagining them see this video and listen to half the things I've said, and it'll be very funny.
Hopefully, wherever you go, Landon, professional or non-professional, they have a sense of humor and can get the fuck over themselves. Hire my boy, or I'll find you. But anyway, for all of us here at Cutting Edge Hero, it has been a blast talking to you. You guys have been great, and we have been Cutting Edge Hero.
See y'all.